Oh, God. Yeah, being a weapon really is tiring. Very tiring.
Well, that was a fucking lame ass introduction, and I didn't even know you can transform into a fucking weapon.
Yeah, I know, right? And you know what? Speaking of people who can turn into weapons, you know what it's time to talk about? That's right, Soul Eater. Man, the manga ended back in 2013, and now it's 2020. It hasn't been really that relevant for the past, what, 80 years? Feels like forever, man. You know what? I really wanted Soul Eater to be one of those kind of animes like Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note, Cowboy Bebop, and all those other popular animes that ended, but people still talk about it and they, to refresh their memories of how good it was. Unfortunately, Soul Eater is not one of those, and why isn't it? I mean, it was really good. True, the final episode was terrible. It had a bad taste in our mouth, but at least for the first 35 episodes, it was real good and it was amazing. It's also a damn shame that people don't talk about how awesome the manga was. I mean, did anyone not read the manga? Asushi Okubo did a it was awesome. He did a splendid job with the manga. And it's really a shame that I don't hear no one talking about the manga. And when people talk about the anime, that's good. But can we talk about the awesome moments in the manga? But for most of you who haven't read the manga, I won't say anything. But you might be wondering, why am I bringing up Soul Eater? Why is this? Why am I bringing it up? Is this video about bringing back the mentioning of Soul Eater and trying to remind people how good it was? Well, I already did that in another video, a video called "What Happened to Soul Eater."
Yeah, for your information, asshole, it was called What the Fuck Happened to Soul Eater?
Well, yeah, that. So you might be wondering, why isn't it up on YouTube? Well, I uploaded. I mean, I made the video.
Excuse me, yeah, yeah, me again. Before I made that video, before I started to create you and everything, yeah, you didn't exist yet. So when you say when I created, I need you to put, quotation marks over that. Would you do that for me, asshole?
Okay,
Thank you.
I made the video, and it was actually 2 hours long. Yeah, a 2 hour long video. And I uploaded it on YouTube, but unfortunately, and I already said this in my other update video about it, I uploaded it on YouTube, but unfortunately, I had like 4 or 5 music copyright strikes. Yes, 4 or 5 music copyright strikes. And of course, as strict as YouTube is, I couldn't upload it. Now, I did do a lot of re-edits, and I did take a lot of music out and added some different type of music in. And honestly, YouTube accepted it, but I personally didn't like it because I worked so hard on the video, and I wanted those particular music choices I put in the video to add the mood and the atmosphere of what I'm trying to do in my video. It's like making, you make a video or you do a good job on a science project or something, and you make it the way you intended. But unfortunately, you have to change so many things, and you can't make it the way you want it because some issue came up, and now you have to change it. I didn't want to change it. I wanted to make it the way I wanted it. I wanted those music choices, not this music choice. I didn't like it at all. I've been trying to work my way to get it on YouTube, but I don't think it'll ever make it. If my other me is not lazy,
Hey, who's the asshole who wrote the story for The Last of Us Part 2? Uh, does this book even fucking work?
hopefully I will put it in the description below so you guys can check it out. I really think you guys should check it out, especially if you're a huge Soul Eater fan. But anyway, let's get to the main meat of this video. I'm bringing up Soul Eater because it turns out that Atsushi Okubo has actually blessed us with something Soul Eater related, and it shows that he hasn't forgotten about his Soul Eater series. But before we get into that, I actually want to talk about, well, the Soul Eater Yearbook. Yes, this Soul Eater Yearbook, I think it came out maybe a year or maybe 2 years after the anime ended. I can't recall. But this came out years ago, and I got this last year, honestly, because I think back in 2017 or 2018, this book here, it was like up to $200 back in 2017 or 18.
Ooh, hundreds of dollars. Ooh, $100. So much money.
Yeah, that was pretty steep. Even for an upset Soul Eater fan that I am, I didn't want to pay that much for the Soul Eater book. It's basically just a slideshow of Soul Eater images. And again, as much as I am a huge Soul Eater fan, even I think that's a bit too much. But then last year they bumped it down to $20, and at the time of this video, it's still $20, and I'm not arguing with that. And for screenshot images or just pictures of the Soul Eater characters, it should only be that much and nothing more. So I just wanted to give this one a little retrospective before we get to the real meat of this video. But I wanted to acknowledge this book real fast before we get to the real meat of the video. So yeah, enough blanding. Let's talk about the Soul Eater Yearbook and see what's really in store for this. So, in the first few pages of the Soul Eater Yearbook, we actually get introductions of the Soul Eater characters. For example, we get Maka Albarn, Meister, Maka Albarn. I would also like to point out that Maka is the main character, which is they're showing that she's the main character, which is why she's getting introduced first. The Soul Eater fanbase has an argument saying that Soul is the main character, but series creator Asushi Okawa has already stated multiple times that Maka is the main protagonist. It's not Soul. Despite his name sorta being in the title, he's more of the second main character. It's not really him. It's really Maka. Just want to make that clearer for everyone, for those who keep saying Soul is the main character. Anyway, our first introduction is actually Maka, Meister, Maka Albarn, partner, Soul Eater Evans. Her likes, studying, her dislikes, raw fish. And then we have 4 screenshots of images of Maka. And then on the right side, we actually get a quote from Maka. Watch it, or I'll take your soul. Which is actually what she says at the end of every Soul Eater preview. After every preview for the next episode of Soul Eater, after every end of the preview, she would say, watch it, or I'll take your soul. She never says it in the anime. It's just a preview thing. Also, why the fuck is that Maka's quote anyway? Maka's quote should have been, a sound soul dwells within a sound mind and a sound body. Hello! Then, of course, after Maka, we get her weapon, Soul Eater Evans. Yeah, Soul Eater Evans. You poor anime viewers, man, I really need to read the manga. Anyway, he's a weapon, Soul Eater Evans. His partner, of course, Maka Albarn. His likes being cool, his dislikes being uncool. And what's his quote? Cool guys see naked women all the time. I'm totally used to it. Which is something he says in the pilot episode when he sees Blair naked for the first time. And then so on and so forth, we get characters like Black Star, we get Tsubaki, the Thompson sisters, Death the Kid, we get the Witch Medusa, we get Lord Death, Dr. Frankenstein, and we get Spirit Albarn. But unfortunately, that's all the introduction of the Soul Eater characters. I wish they would have given more introductions to more Soul Eater characters, but we'll discuss that later when I talk about a few of the nitpicks I don't like about this book. But after that, it's pretty much just, well, like a normal yearbook would be. It's just screenshot images of just all the Soul Eater characters. Yeah, you can find these images on Google. I'm not kidding. You can literally find these images in Google. But it's still fun to have a yearbook of these kind of things. And like I said, if you're a huge Soul Eater fan and you just don't care about screenshot images of the Soul Eater characters, then yeah, it's actually worth getting. I do like some of the images where you see the Soul Eater characters like at the beach, or you see them at the at a Japanese festival. I actually wouldn't mind seeing them doing this kind of stuff in a Soul Eater filler episode. Unfortunately, nothing like that happens in the manga, but seeing the Soul Eater characters going out, hanging out, and having a good time, I actually wouldn't mind filler episodes like that. But yeah, all these images are really pretty interesting, and I actually do like it. At the end of the book, however, I will say at the end of the book, well, close at the end of the book, we actually get little references of the side characters like Killix, Kim, Ox, and all the other side characters. Now, for you anime-only viewers, you might be like, why do they matter? They didn't do nothing in the anime. Well, they're really important in the manga. Yeah, well, in the manga, they really become really helpful in the manga, and they get more in-depth in the manga. Especially Kimberly. Oh, pink hair Kimberly. She definitely gets a lot more developed. One of my nitpick problems is that in the end, we actually get the death sites in the end, and we get Sid. I don't know why they're introduced at the very last end of the book. That's kind of disrespectful. I don't know. I think we should have seen more of Justin Law, Marie, and Sid, and Nagus, and all the others. I feel like we should have seen more of them, but whatever. But then at the end of the book, we actually get... Oh. We actually get Soul Eater DVDs. Yeah, we actually get the complete Soul Eater DVDs. The complete collection together. That's awesome. I'm not trying to complain or anything, but I mean, this is cool. I mean, if you don't have the Soul Eater complete collection, and like I said, the anime is worth watching. I guess I'm not too surprised, and I guess I'm not too shocked about it because, well, yeah, I already own it on Blu-ray, so yeah, I guess I got more Soul Eater DVDs to watch now. But nonetheless, I mean, I'm not giving away these Soul Eater DVDs. It's mine. I'm not giving it away. But it's still nice to give the collection to, you know, those who don't probably have Soul Eater, the anime. So that's that's a nice bonus add, because I wasn't really expecting that. This book is really good, but now let's get to a few of the minor problems I have with this yearbook. Now, one of my problems with this Soul Eater yearbook is actually the beginning of the introduction of the Soul Eater characters. Like I said, we get introduction of the 7 main Soul Eater characters and the other side characters. My problem is that why can't we get other introduction of the other sword characters? Like, for example, Medusa. Medusa is the only villain who gets her own introduction in her own quote. Now, what about the other villains? Like, what about the villains that were helping her? Like, Erica, Mizunes, and Free. Granted, they are referenced right here, right next to her. That's cool and all. But why don't they get their own introductions? I feel like it's a missed opportunity. What about the other Death Size? Now, Spirit is in this book, and he has his own introduction, as I stated. But what about the other Death Size? What about Marie? What about Justin Law? What about Ozuna? I mean, they're in the they are mentioned at the end of the book. I mean, they are there, but they don't get their own introduction. Granted, they didn't do too much in the anime, but at least they did sort of something. But I feel like it's a missed opportunity for not getting the other Death Size their own introduction as well. Also, at the end of the book, like I said, when they are mentioned a little bit, we don't even see Joe. Yeah, Joe's not even in there. Granted, Joe didn't do too much either, but come on, man, at least squeeze Joe in there somewhere. Now, what really gets on my nerve about the other introductions of the Soul Eater characters, what about Blair? I mean, Blair should have been introduced as well. Granted, it's debatable that maybe in the anime, she is probably the less character you will see in the series, but still, I think Blair should have deserved her own. But let's get to the real meat of what I really don't like about the characters who did get introduced, and that is the villains. Medusa, again, she's the only villain who gets introduced. Where is Arachne? Where is Ashura? Especially Ashura. Why isn't Ashura in this book? I mean, he was one of the big bad guys in the anime. Granted, he went down like a total wimp at the end of the anime, but still, Ashura's design and how the way he looks, especially when he has those bandages around him, he is awesome. How could you not put him in the book? That was literally... Ashura is literally one of the best looking anime villains I've ever seen. Granted, he went down terribly. I won't compare it to the manga. He's a lot better in the manga. But come on, man. How can you miss Ashura? And as for Arachne, well, you know what? I can actually understand why Arachne's not here. You know what? Okay. Arachne didn't really do too much in the anime, and I guess she can be forgettable, so I guess there's that.
Oh, please. Man, that bitch didn't do shit throughout the entire anime. Throughout the entire anime, all she did was sit on her ass and drink wine all day. That's all she did. Who does that?
Also, would you believe that Excalibur is not actually in this book? Yeah, Excalibur is not in this book. Okay, look, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, you guys be the judge of that. But let's talk about the two characters who should have gotten their own introduction in this book. And those two characters are Krona and Mifune. Those characters, those two big characters, should have gotten their own introduction. And I cannot believe the person who made this yearbook did not acknowledge them getting their own praise in the book. That was a missed opportunity. I don't know who made this book, but how did you forget big characters like Krona and Mifune? Again, without even comparing it to the manga, they were still good, important characters in the anime too.
Okay. This is where I gotta come in. Okay, why the fuck is Krona not introduced? I mean, come on. He was one of the most important characters in the anime too. Seriously, Krona is best friends with the main protagonist, and he's actually the child of well, at least one of the main antagonists, Medusa. So Krona doesn't get his own introduction? That's a big, massive slap in the face. And guess what? I'm a huge Krona fan. Yeah, I love Krona. I'm a huge fan of that character. And Krona not getting his own introduction? That is fucking bullshit. Krona is important, both the anime and the manga. Granted, in the manga, he's way more important, and he does a lot more, and he's a lot developed more in the manga. But still, both anime and manga, Krona is important to character too. So how the fuck could you forget Krona? But you know what? To be fair, at least Krona is at least acknowledged in the book in like 1 or 2 pages. But you know who isn't? Mifune. Mifune, Black Star's biggest fucking rival in the show, is not referenced there. Kiss my ass to the dude who made this book. Seriously, Mifune is one of the most memorable characters in the series. Why would you forget Mifune? You can't forget Mifune. Even newcomers to Soul Eater would know who Mifune is. Come the fuck on. And in the manga, yes, in the manga, I'm comparing this to the manga, fuck you. In the manga, he really is the one who drives Black Star to reach his goal to surpass God. Mifune is the reason why Black Star chooses the path of the warrior, and he wants to grow up to be just like Mifune. Mifune is the reason why Black Star is who he is. Well, at least the reason why Black Star continues his goal to reach his goal. Mifune is everything that Black Star wants to be, and Mifune not being referenced in this yearbook? What the fuck? If you're gonna get this yearbook, and if Mifune is your favorite character, well, this book's gonna slap you in the face like, well, too bad, Mifune's not in this book. Like, what the fuck?
And my last little nitpick problem I have, and I want to acknowledge this little problem if I didn't hear this in the comic sessions about people talking about this yearbook, but believe it or not, since this is a yearbook, fans have been complaining, why don't we get signatures of the voice actors? Yeah, I actually agree. Yeah, this is a yearbook, so yeah, why couldn't we get signatures of all the voice actors from both the Japanese and the English dub of the voice actors who voiced these characters? We could have gotten signatures from Studio Bones, from the people who animated, who did the soundtracks, who did everything with it. Also, a missed opportunity to not get a signature from Asushi Okubo himself. Come on, man, it's a yearbook. We should have gotten a signature from at least from the voice actors, Studio Bones, and Asushi Okubo. Man, as a Soul Eater fanboy, I would have gone fucking girl crazy if that happened. Well, anyway, that's pretty much my retrospective of this book. Overall, this Soul Eater Yearbook, it's amazing. I actually like it. I'm happy that I owned it. I'm glad it was cheap too, because I really wanted to own this Soul Eater Yearbook. I can only recommend this yearbook if you are a hardcore, or let alone just a casual Soul Eater fan. If you don't mind just a normal screenshot pages of all the Soul Eater characters, then yeah, it's worth picking up. And like I said, at the time of this video, it's still $20, so you better get it while it's still cheap. So yeah, the Soul Eater Yearbook, definitely worth the buy, so pick it up, or I'll take your soul.
Dude, that was fucking lame as hell. Stop doing that corny ass shit. Seriously. Fucking Jesus Christ. Anyway, what's the big meat of this video you keep talking about? What the fuck is that? So wait, after that awesome epic battle between Maka's soul and the others finding Ashura on the moon, and after Krona seals him on the moon, are you telling me they're actually gonna find a way to get Krona back? Is that what that is? This a continuation after that? Is that what it is?
Whoa, dude, what the hell? Shut the hell up, man. Not many people haven't read the manga yet. You're spoiling for people who haven't read the manga, dude. What the hell?
What the fuck, man? I thought you said it was a new fucking Soul Eater manga. Why did you lie to me?
Yes, it's a new Soul Eater manga, but it's not a continuation after the series ended. This is just a retelling of the first 4 chapters of Soul Eater, but in high definition and all that. And also, anyway, like I said earlier, this is a brand new Soul Eater manga. Your eyes do not deceive you, but it's not finishing off where the series left off. And honestly, I don't want it to. I think the Soul Eater manga ended perfectly well. I don't think the story really need to continue or anything. But like I said, this is just a retelling of the first 6 volumes of Soul Eater, but just in high definition quality is all. And honestly, that's not a bad choice for Asushi Okubo to do. Honestly, I never did read the early chapters of Soul Eater. When the anime started taking this departure from the manga around episode 35, I honestly just picked up where the anime stopped following the source material, and from then on, I just read the manga just from the ending point to volume 27, which I'm sure that's the following volume. Now, for some of you who don't know, the anime takes a departure from the manga around episode 35, and that means that was like volume 9 or 10 where the manga stopped because, Asushi Okubo wasn't done writing the manga at the time. So the anime, of course, took its departure since the manga wasn't done yet. So around volumes 9 or 10, that's where I pick up where it left off, so I just finished reading the manga from that point. I never did go back and read the previous ones because, well, they were already animated, so there's really no point to me, going back and just rereading them. But I just got done finished reading this, and you know what? This is probably a new record for me. I read mangas, but I'm not too crazy about reading mangas or reading in general, to be honest. But the only 3 current mangas that I am reading right now is actually Overlord, Attack on Titan, Fire Force, and especially My Hero Academia. But I'm not really that huge on reading, and I really take my time and I'm really slow in it. But when I got this, I finished this whole entire book in 1 hour. 1 hour. That's a new record for me. I would read maybe the first 4 or 5 pages, take a break, and then go back to reading it. I read this non-stop. I didn't stop a single second. I was just enjoying it. Even though it was just a retelling of the first 6 volumes of Soul Eater, I was still having a blast. Also, I was also really interested to find there were some really major differences in this manga that actually didn't make it into the anime. There are not too many differences, but it was still nice to see some things that made it to the cut, but some didn't. So that was a thrill ride to see. Now, not to repeat myself, like I said, this book has over 300 pages, and it is literally the 6 volumes of Soul Eater in this 300-page book. And for some of you anime Soul Eater fans who only saw the anime, yes, that means the first 6 episodes of Soul Eater are right here. So if you're familiar with the anime, well, this book is no different, with a few minor different changes. Now, look, if you're 100% familiar with the Soul Eater anime or the manga, doesn't matter. This part of the video is strictly for Soul Eater fans who really remember the anime fully and what it's all about. If you don't know nothing about Soul Eater, then I advise you just to click away from this video because you might be confused. Because if you're not familiar with the anime, I'm just going to talk about the differences that stayed in the manga, but it didn't really get into the anime adaptation. But if you don't care for that, then yeah, I hope you stick around. Then if you really don't care about what's the differences and what's not, and you just still want to hear about it, then it's great to have you. But afterwards, read the manga or watch the anime. It's definitely worth an experience. Soul Eater is just amazing. It's amazing, both anime and manga. So yeah, let's hurry and get into this segment where we're gonna see the little differences that's in the manga, but didn't make into the anime. And with that being said, let's get into it. For the record, I don't know why he's putting on his glasses. He doesn't need glasses. He can see without them. No, I can't. Shut up. He doesn't need glasses. Now, I'm not going to dive too much in between the story differences between the anime and the manga, and well, for the most part, there's no differences between the anime and the manga because, of course, this is just episode 1. There are following the story of the manga right now, but all that won't change until like around chapter 9 or 10. But as of now, I do want to talk about the difference between when the weapons eat the souls of different people. It's really different between the anime and the manga, so I really want to talk about the difference between that. And it says on the Soul Eater Wikia page, one of the major differences within the manga and the anime is the type of people who are able to consume souls, and how one achieves as a death slice status. In the manga, one must collect 99 evil human souls and 1 witch soul. Those souls are the list made by Death and specify who is allowed to be hunted in the DWMA. However, in the anime they introduced the Kishin Egg concept, leaving up to the student's ability and soul protection to find Kishin souls and hunt them down. Characters such as White Star, Jack the Ripper, Don Acapone, and Luthon in the manga are wanted for crimes such as murder and thievery and did not consume souls. Whilst in the anime, they also took souls. The Kishin Egg concept is consistent in the anime, as Death explained during the DWMA anniversary that only demon weapons can consume souls. However, non-demon weapons have been seen on screen only in the anime consuming souls. Ashura is the exception because he was able to consume Agra and gain the ability to consume souls. This may be because of his Shinigami nature and some sort of resonating between Ashura and Bagra. My big major reason why I like this way better than the anime adaptation is that the world of Soul Eater in the manga, it's more realistic. I like it. See, instead of characters like Jack the Ripper and Don Acapone being wanted because they wanted people's souls, no, they're wanted because of their thievery and they're murderers. So Death puts a list for the kids. It's kind of odd to say this, but Death puts a list for the kids to look under who's on the list because, you know, Don Acapone and Jack the Ripper, they're wanted for murder and crime and all that, so they need to be hunted down and they need to be executed. Damn, it makes the world of Soul Eater, it makes it feel more realistic. Unlike in the anime, they're just wanted because they're after souls. I don't know, it feels too child-friendly when you compare it to the manga. It's like both are trying to make it more child-friendly. Which is a bit ironic because the anime does have sexual themes that kids can't watch. But yeah, I gotta say, I do like the manga better because it does set Soul Eater in more of a realistic type of setting. So yeah, props to the manga when it comes to that kind of stuff. Other than the way they consume human souls, there's really not any other major differences between the anime and the manga. Except for the way how Blair is sexualized. Yeah, Blair is really perverted in the manga. I've heard fans complain that Blair was actually too perverted in the anime, and if you think that, well, you only saw the PG-13 version. The manga goes full in depth how sexualized that Blair can become. Tsuji Ogabo really outdid himself in Blair. I mean, she's so detailed, I don't even think I'm allowed to show it on YouTube, since YouTube is more of a, Christian website. So I don't even know if I'm allowed to show these images, but to be safe, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, Blair is really perverted in the manga, more so than she is in the anime. Also, get used to that because it's a reoccurring thing. Speaking of Blair, her hat that she uses in episode 1 to get to grab Maka by her leg and throw her in the sky, her hat can actually talk. In fact, it has a name. I, for the life of me, don't know the name. It's called Zit something. I can't really pronounce it. It actually has one line in the entire chapter, and I don't know why. It kind of bothers me. I wish the hat did talk in the anime. I don't know. I guess if I hear an adaptation of a manga or a book or whatever, I guess I want the adaptation to stay closely to the book as possible, even small little details like that. But that's just my opinion. But other than that, there's really not too much significant changes between the anime and the manga of episode 1. But still a good start. It's still good. It's still good. Not too many changes, but yeah. Now we get to episode 2, which is chapter 2, where Black Star gets introduced. And yeah, this is where the changes really start to come up. Once Black Star and Tsubaki failed to kill Donna Capone, Black Star and Tsubaki decided to retreat outside to contact Lord Death. Yes, contact Lord Death. Ah, you don't remember that in the anime. Well, that's because that didn't happen in the anime. In the anime, both Black Star and Tsubaki go back to the DWMA and go back to that listing that Lord Death has for his students so they can hunt down all those thieves and those murderers. And then they meet up with Maka and Soul, and they start talking and whatnot. And yes, that scene where you see them meeting Maka and Soul consulting with Black Star, they're doing their high fives and all that didn't happen in the manga. In the manga, once Black Star and Tsubaki retrieve from their mission, Tsubaki uses one of her smoke bombs, and she uses it to contact Lord Death. And they're talking, and then she's talking to Lord Death through this puff of smoke. Which, when I think about it, it's pretty consistent, because in episode 1, Maka contacted Lord Death through the mirror by putting Death's signature on the mirror. And in episode 3, when Death contacted his father by doing sign language. By the way, those sign languages means I love you, just for some of you who don't know. And then he's talking to his father through this vortex looking thing. So it actually is pretty consistent. Maka and Death the Kid had to contact Death through some different type of ways, while Black Star and Tsubaki, they had to meet him in person. So why was that different from the anime and the manga? It didn't make sense to me, but then when I gave it a second thought, I was like, actually, I guess due to the runtime, between a book and a TV show has to be like 20 minutes long. So I'm guessing when Studio Bones animated this part, they had to think of a way to expand the runtime. So I guess they had to add the scene with them going to the DWMA, meeting with Lord Death, and discussing where they can find more souls so they can help somebody become a death weapon. So I think that was why it had to be changed from the manga to expand the runtime. So, of course, as usual, since Black Star and Tsubaki are having a hard time getting at least a single soul, Lord Death tells them that they can actually collect 99 souls and get one wish soul altogether. It turns out the Samurai Mifune's sword has a collection of 99 evil human souls, and he so happens to be protecting a witch called Angela. So, if Black Star takes down Mifune, takes his sword, and kills the witch Medusa, Tsubaki will become a death weapon already. Now, we already know that, but here comes the big major difference. So it turns out that Donna Capone's men has actually told him where the witch Angela is because they're after her too. And of course, as we know, they meet up with Mifune, and of course Mifune defeats Donna Capone and his men very effortlessly. Now here's the big changes though. In the anime, we see their souls just lying around. We see they're dead. They're just dead. Their souls are just lying around everywhere. The manga takes a different approach. When Black Star and Tsubaki go after the Samurai Mifune, Donna Capone and his men are dead on the ground. Their dead corpse are on the ground, and they are dead bodies. God damn, Atsushi Otomo, that's some balls right there. Like I said earlier, it's just Soul Eater in the manga. It's just set more realistically in the world. Instead of seeing those souls just lying around, you're actually seeing dead corpses on the ground, and it's really terrifying. I was shocked that the manga went that far. I'm like, that's some ballsy take right there. It's little changes like that makes me upset that Studio Bones did that. Again, it's like they're trying to make it child friendly, but Soul Eater's anime is really not that child friendly. Again, sexual themes and all that stuff going on. So, what the hell? But then the scene gets even better because Mifune attacks Black Star while his guard was down, and Black Star quickly evades the attack. And that's a cool introduction for Black Star meeting Mifune for the first time. Unlike in the anime, when Black Star and Tsubaki arrive, Mifune is just arbitrarily just sitting there very effortlessly, just standing around. Now, as a standalone scene, that's cool, I'll admit, but compared to the manga, I do like how Mifune just comes completely out of nowhere, attacks Black Star, and tries to attack him while his guard was down. That's another good introduction. Again, I don't know why that was changed, but good job, Atsushi Oguro. That was a good introduction for his character for Black Star. after that, it pretty much plays the same as you remember the anime, where Black Star and Mifune have their awesome kick-ass fight. You know, where Tsubaki turns into a Black Star clone, but it turns out it's just her, and then Black Star does this big wave and all that. Awesome fight scene. I also remember that I was upset when I first saw the episode for a second there because, you know, Mifune was such a cool character and I liked him already. I was thinking to myself, don't tell me he's just a one-off character and we're not going to see him again. Turns out, he's a reoccurring character. Awesome. Mifune is one of the best characters in the Soul Eater anime. Well, series. Sucks for Mifune because later on in the manga he just... Okay, dude, seriously. Once again, you're spoiling for people who haven't read the manga yet. You really need to shut the hell up. I'm just fucking saying. Now, I was going to ignore chapter 3, which is actually the introduction to Death the Kid, but there's only maybe 2 differences I noticed that was in the anime that it wasn't in the manga. First of all, we find out that Black Star, first of all, in the anime, Black Star and Soul actually find out that Lord Death has a son in episode 3, because Sid tells them about Lord Death having a son. Now, in the anime, like I said, they know about that in episode 3. But what you know in the manga, they didn't know about that until chapter 6, which is actually the chapter where Death the Kid joins the DWMA. Interesting, right? Well, that was pretty. And another thing is that, not only that, speaking of Sid was actually introduced as a human in the anime. Now, in the manga, we don't get introduced to Sid until chapter 4, but in chapter 4, Sid is already dead. But in the anime, they said the show was Sid before he dies. Yeah, his appearance was only like 10 seconds long, but it was nice for Studio Bones to show us Sid before he died. And it's also nice to see that between the anime and the manga, Soul and Black Star didn't know about Lord Death having a son, at least not until chapter 6. But in the anime, they know about it in episode 3. Other than that, chapter 3 plays exactly the same like the episode 3 played, so there's really not much differences in that. Okay, so now we get into chapter 4, and once again, not many differences besides one little thing. Of course, now, chapter 4, of course, is episode 4, when we actually sort of get introduced to Dr. Stein. Now, of course, for those who read the anime, and again, I watched the anime, I'm sure you guys watched the anime, again, I hope you guys did, it makes my job a lot easier. Of course, after Maka, Soul, Black Star, and Tsubaki defeated Sid, did the episode feel like a little off to you guys? Like, once they defeated Sid, they just effortlessly just knew where Stein was. Sid didn't really tell them where he was. Maybe he told them off screen, but it felt kind of rushed. Like, I don't know, it felt like a scene was missing. They just knew where Stein was, or you can argue that Sid probably told them off screen. But why would they cut that out? Well, it turns out there was a missing scene, and Bones cut it out. It wasn't because of time constraints or anything like that. But Bones had to take out a particular scene, and we're going to see why Bones had to take it out. So, once Soul, Manga, Black Star, and Tsubaki defeat Sid, they start interrogating him. And when I first saw that, I was like, okay, well, this is new. I said I knew something was missing in the anime because they just knew where Stein was. So of course, anyway, they start interrogating Sid and saying, who turned you to a zombie? Who did it? Of course, Sid keeps saying, that's not the kind of man I am. He's not gonna speak. So Soul gets upset and he's like, okay, then I'm gonna make him talk. Then, when I turn the page, without any warning, without any build-up, Black Star shows Sid Tsubaki's panties. What? Black Star shows Tsubaki's panties. I said, where the hell did that come from? And then, guess what? Sid actually says it was Dr. Stein. And I'm like, it worked? He actually... Where did this shit come from? And you know what? It looked like something that Black Star would do. It was hilarious. So, Soul gets upset, and he actually says he got insta-kill, which is kind of funny. So, Soul gets upset because Black Star made him talk. So, what does Soul do? Of course, he shows Maka's panties too. What is this? I was like, okay, I didn't know what to... I said, okay, first of all, it was real stupid. At first, I didn't like it at first, because I said, That's something that Soul would never do. Soul would never do something like that. And it's kind of awkward for me to say that because, or ironically for me to say that, because, I mean, this is the series creator. He knows Soul Eater more than anyone. I mean, he's the damn creator. But then, a second later, Soul literally says, "What I did was, without a doubt, not cool, Maka. Please kill me." So, in other words, Soul is self-aware that is something that he would never do, and he can't believe he actually did that. So, if it wasn't for that line right there, I actually wouldn't mind it now. If Soul didn't really reference saying that he know that wasn't him, then I would say what he just did was uncalled for, because that's something he wouldn't do. But since Soul acknowledged it, it's fine and it's funny. But what makes it even funnier is that unlike Sid seeing Tsubaki's panties and he actually told that who turned him into a zombie, when he sees Maka's panties, Sid has no reaction towards it because, since Maka's a flat chest and everything and she doesn't have a thin body like Tsubaki does, Sid doesn't say anything. Black Star even tells Sid, don't worry, nobody blames you." Maka's so unattractive. It is so hilarious. And then, of course, Maka chops both Sid, Blackstar, and Soul. And then Sid finally says where Stein is. That is the only big major difference between chapters 4 and 5, or episodes 4 and 5. But yeah, I can see why Bones had to cut that particular part out. That is hilarious, Sushi Okubo. And if Soul Eater was ever to return with the reboot, I'm sorry, they have to animate this. That is hilarious. They should have kept this part of the manga. That was hilarious. God. Damn, Asushi Okubo, you are a crazy ass man. And I love you. After that, everything you remember about episode 4 and 5 of Soul Eater, it plays exactly the same. If I had to choose a chapter where Studio Bones literally replicated every line in every page of the manga, it's actually chapter 5. Chapter 5 plays exactly like the anime. There is nothing new added, nothing. Everything that's in the manga, I saw it in the anime, but yeah, I'm gonna skip chapter 5 because yeah, nothing major different happened. It's exactly the same. So yeah, moving on. By the way, the fight against Stein, it was good. I said Stein. I just got done watching My Hero Academia, so yeah, confused. Anyway, let's go to the final chapter, which is chapter 6, where Death the Kid fights Black Star and Soul. Now, once again, in my last time saying this, once again, like chapter 5, there's really not much differences. Everything you saw Black Star going against Black Star and Soul going against Death the Kid, once again, it plays exactly the same, except for one piece of dialogue that was not in the anime, but it's only in the manga. And it's actually the part where Death the Kid arrives late at the school when he meets Soul and Blackstar for the first time. So, of course, you guys know how it plays. Death the Kid is 3 hours late for his first day on school, his first day of class, because, he was trying to make sure his room was all symmetrical and stuff. And then when Kid arrives there, he meets Soul, and he thinks Soul is his tour guide showing him around the campus. And as a response, Soul is like, "What, you're 3 hours late and you think I'm your tour guide? If you got here on time at 7 o'clock, you wouldn't be so late." And of course, as a response, Kid goes like, 7? No, damn it, it's 8. Because 7 is not a symmetrical number. 8 is more symmetrical than the number 8. Because as Kid says right here, but what about 8? Cut it vertically, cut it horizontally, it's symmetrical, it's perfect. And that's how the way he says it in the anime too. So basically 8 is more symmetrical than 7, so he doesn't like the word 7. Now the big difference is that Soul talks about time in the anime, but in the manga, and I don't know why this was changed, but he says, talk about riding your parents' coattails, your dad's must be 7 feet long. Yeah. I don't know why that dialogue was changed. Yeah, he talks about time, but he talks about saying if his parents had coattails and his dad's must be 7 feet long. And of course, as usual, Kid doesn't like the number 7 and says 8 is more symmetrical. I don't know why that was changed. I really don't. You gotta help me on that one. But other than that, yeah, everything else, once again, plays exactly the same, and there's not much differences after that.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, well, alright, well, I actually lied. There actually is another small difference between the anime and the manga. And honestly, it always bothered me. Now, of course, after Death the Kid does his death cannon on Soul and Blackstar, he spits out blood, and no one knew the reason why he spit out blood. And Maka just very effortlessly knew why he spit out blood. She found out that Kid's hair wasn't really symmetrical after Soul cut half of his hair off. And since Kid knows that it was asymmetrical, he passed out blood. Makes sense. What doesn't make sense, and it really did bother me, how the hell did Maka know that Kid has a symmetry addiction? She has no idea about that. So how did she just draw the conclusion that that was it? Well, it turns out in the manga, there's a reason why Maka knew. And she says, and I quote, after the explosion, he noticed yelling out, "The balance is ruined, and will no one think of the symmetry?" Then he sped up blood and kept over. Okay, so that means after the explosion, said Kid was screaming out that his balance was off, his symmetry was off, and then he spit it out blood. Granted, we don't see it happening, but it's a good reason how Maka knows, instead of her just just thinking, saying, "Oh yeah, he spit out blood because his symmetry was off." I mean, Maka doesn't even know about his symmetry addiction, so at least the manga explains it. Oh yeah, and another thing that's also added in the manga that wasn't explained, that wasn't told in the anime, was that as a result, young Kid was in bed for a week and he missed a month of school right after he started. Since then, he's been persevering and attending class while going to countless sessions. So he was passed out over a month while after he found out his hair was asymmetrical. Again, something that the anime doesn't mention, but that's a nice added bonus too. And once again, everything plays exactly the same. But yeah, I guarantee you that was the last new thing that was exclusive in the manga, but not in the anime. And well, that's it. That's the entire Soul Eater manga, the whole entire first 6 chapters of Soul Eater. My final verdict? Well, you guys know what I'm gonna say. It's freaking amazing. It's magnificent. It is great. And this is worth every single penny. I'm glad I own this special edition of the Soul Eater manga. If you're a Soul Eater fan and you're only an anime viewer and you still haven't read the manga yet, well, this is a great way to start. Like I said, worth every penny, especially for you Soul Eater fans who haven't read the manga. Yes, even though the manga, well, even though the anime has already done an adaptation of the first 9 volumes of Soul Eater, it's still great to go back and read the chapters, the beginning of the chapters, to see what made the cut to the anime and some that didn't make the cut, as I previously showed you guys. So it's still worth going back. Now, for you Soul Eater fans who do own 25 volumes of the manga, is this special edition still worth it? Well, that's really your personal preference. Do you want to reread the manga, but in a high definition image quality? Then, yeah, the perfect edition is actually for you. Not to mention, like I said, it's 6 volumes in one. So, yeah, this is like killing 2 birds with 1 stone if you want a good image, and all the manga is just pretty much 6 of them all in one. And we have more to come. Speaking more to come, yes, we actually got a lot more. We have actually got teased with the second special edition having Soul on front of the cover. But not just any Soul. Soul has his black headband on. That's right. Soul with his black headband on. You guys know what that means. Hell, even if you anime viewers, you guys know what that means too. Yes, Soul is a death sight. Soul as a death sight is on the image on the second perfect edition of the Soul Eater manga. And if I'm correct, I'm sure that has over 300 pages, and that also has 6 volumes of Soul Eater also. After Soul being on the second edition, the next one is Black Star, and the next one has Tsubaki on it. We don't know what the 5th one looks like just yet. Speaking of the 5th one, I'm gonna assume it has something to do with Death the Kid. And you know what? Since they showed Soul as a death sight on the second version of the perfect edition, does that mean that Kid is going to be a full-fledged Shimigami on his part of the book? I mean, they already showed us Soul as a death sight, so, I mean, it would make sense if Kid got his own look of him being a full-fledged Shimigami. But I guess we'll see what Atsushi Okubo will do with that.
Hey guys, huge major update while I was editing this video. Now, last week or several weeks ago when I was planning on uploading this video and, do all my editing and stuff, at the time, I don't think the 5th volume of Soul Eater was revealed. I mean, maybe it was, maybe I didn't research good enough, but good thing I was Skype chatting with one of my friends and they actually gave me a huge update, and it turns out that the 5th Soul Eater Perfect Edition is revealed. Not only that, but we have 17 more revealed. Yes, 17 more have already been revealed. At the time when I was making this video, honestly, we had nothing on it, but now we do. And to answer my question, unfortunately, Death the Kid is not in his full Shimigami mode, and what makes matters worse, spoiler alert, Krona is not in his full Kishin mode, so it kind of bothered me in the front of the covers that Death the Kid won't be a full-fledged Shimigami on his front of his cover, and Krona won't be in his full Kishin mode, even though they show Soul in his Death Sight mode with his black headband. Unfortunately, Atsushi Okubo didn't do that for other characters who also get different forms in the manga, so it's a little disappointing, but whatever. But I just want to give you guys a huge update to let you know we have 17 other volumes. Some are ready for pre-orders, some are not. So If if you're planning on getting it, then be sure to pre-order. Did I pre-order it? Of course. You shouldn't really have asked me that. But yes, this is a huge major update. I did my research, and yes, we got 17 other volumes to come. So, yeah.
Now, not to get all emotional at this last part of the video, but it is very cathartic to see a Sushi Okubo is actually reminding us that, he made Soul Eater, and is glad that he hadn't forgotten about it. I mean, even though he's currently working on Fire Force right now, he still took the time and effort to give us a re-release of the Soul Eater mangas in high-definition image quality format. It's really good, and it shows he has forgotten. He's like, yeah, Soul Eater made me popular, so I might as well just remind the fans of Soul Eater. And yes, even though Beishi was actually his first manga series, Soul Eater is really the one that kickstarted his career. Even fans who are just now getting into Fire Force, even they're going back watching Soul Eater and saying, man, this Asushi Okubo guy is good. I gotta see what else he's done. They've seen Soul Eater, and from what I've heard from the Fire Force fans, they love Soul Eater as well, and even they would like to see it make a comeback. And really, that's what I want to talk about real fast. I really do hope that not just this special edition, but I hope his future Soul Eater special editions actually get sell extremely well. I mean, think about it. If these sell extremely well, we could possibly see the return of a Soul Eater. We could really probably get Soul Eater Brotherhood. We could actually get it. But that really depends if this manga sells so well. After all, that's why Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood exists. Even though the anime ended, the manga was selling like crazy. In fact, from what I've heard, the Fullmetal Alchemist manga was selling so well in Japan, stores were running out of stock for the manga. That's how popular Fullmetal Alchemist is. So of course, Studio Bones looked at it and said, wow, fans really love Fullmetal Alchemist. We're gonna remake this. Ironically enough, not many fans were asking for a reboot. Now, even though the anime didn't follow the manga all the way towards the end, since the manga wasn't done, there were some people who were asking for Fullmetal to get a reboot, but they weren't really crying for it, because the anime for Fullmetal Alchemist, it didn't really end bad. Not like how Soul Eater did. But Fullmetal Alchemist anime ending, it was still good enough. But Bones still delivered, and they said, yeah, we'll give you guys the right adaptation of Fullmetal Alchemist, because, well, the manga and the anime was still up, and the manga was still being sold like crazy. In fact, the manga is still being sold like crazy today, because Fullmetal Alchemist is a really good series. Soul Eater is also good. It's debatable that you might say it's better than Fullmetal Alchemist. I personally think Soul Eater is just a tad bit better than Fullmetal Alchemist. But this is a brilliant series as well. But unfortunately, unlike Fullmetal Alchemist, it's not getting sold like crazy. It has its fans, but it's just not getting sold like crazy like Fullmetal Alchemist. But still, nonetheless, compared to all the animes that's been, coming out, getting sequels, getting remakes, I really do feel like Soul Eater deserves that same attention. And like I said, not to repeat myself again, I really do hope Soul Eater Special Edition sells like mad. And I honestly hope you guys can encourage other Soul Eater fans and newbies, and even the new Fire Force fans, convince them to try out Soul Eater, and hopefully we can get something going. Again, it's like a Sushi Okubo hasn't forgotten about Soul Eater, and you know what? It looks like Studio Bones, who animated Soul Eater back in 2008, it looks like they haven't forgotten about Soul Eater either. Because when I just got into My Hero Academia last year, literally, I got into My Hero Academia last year. I think maybe around June or July. I got into it, and to show you proof, yes, I love My Hero Academia. So don't tell me I don't like Hero Academia. I love it. But anyway, when I got the first season of My Hero Academia, and when I read the back of the cover, even Studio Bones acknowledged that they haven't forgotten about Soul Eater either, because they said, from Studio Bones, the creators of Full Metal Alchemist and Soul Eater. I was smiling when I saw that. I'm like, oh, Bones advertised Soul Eater, so it looks like they haven't forgotten. Not to mention, when you say Studio Bones, I guess Full Metal Alchemist and Soul Eater are the two big name animes you think of. Don't get me wrong, they've done a lot of great adaptations to previous mangas, but Full Metal Alchemist, Soul Eater, and well, okay, in My Hero Academia, they're the top three animes I would think of when as soon as you say Studio Bones. So they are the top three animes. But it shows both Studio Bones and Atsushi Okubo. It looks like they both haven't forgot about Soul Eater. But it really depends if this manga sells extremely well. So again, not to repeat myself, but let's just hope, us Soul Eater fans, that we will see the return of Soul, Maka, and all the others, and the reboot adaptation, depending if this sells well. So I hope you guys really check it out. I hope you encourage people to go watch it, please, because we need this series to come back. We really do. Man, you know what we really fucking need? We need a remake of Tokyo Ghoul. Seriously, that source material was so good. Studio Period fucked that up in the second season, and then third season, and so on and so forth. Man, Tokyo Ghoul really needs that reboot bullshit. Yeah, I agree. Tokyo Ghoul is also another anime I actually wouldn't mind getting another reboot treatment. The first season, to be fair, was actually pretty good. It wasn't too faithful to the manga, but it was still good enough. Season 2 made a departure from the manga for some reason, and then season 3 said, yeah, we'll go back following the manga, and then we'll kind of be faithful to it. I don't know. I don't know what Studio Period was thinking, but yeah, Tokyo Ghoul, I would definitely like to see that get the remake treatment. But much like Studio Bones is too busy with My Hero Academia before they can do something about Soul Eater, Madhouse, who are responsible for the awesome anime like Death Note, I would like to see them take care of the Tokyo Ghoul remake because Madhouse can do like gory and scary atmosphere animes, and Tokyo Ghoul is sort of that. So I would like to see Madhouse do the Tokyo Ghoul remake. Unfortunately, though, they are busy working on a popular good anime series that I personally like, even if it wasn't popular. I like it, and that anime is Overlord. Man, Overlord is fucking kick ass. Overlord is, oh, how can I say?
It's basically Sword Art Online, but way fucking better.
Well, yeah, even though I really personally don't mind Sword Art Online as a normal casual fan, as much as I don't mind Sword Art Online, Overlord is a better version of it, a way better version of it. So Overlord kick ass. But in order for Tokyo Ghoul remake to happen, I really want Madhouse to finish Overlord. And as much as I want to see the Soul Eater reboot by Studio Bones, I want Studio Bones to take care of My Hero Academia. But there are a lot of other animes that I would like to see get the remake treatment. But Soul Eater and Tokyo Ghoul, those are my main big two that I want to see get the reboot treatment.
So we can get good adaptations of Black Clover and Naruto. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Black Clover and Naruto, good anime adaptations of their manga, but Tokyo Ghoul, another good successful source material, it can't get a good adaptation of its manga either. Seriously, Period. Fuck you. Seriously.
Well, on that note, I'm going to end the video right here. Thank you all so much who put up with me up until this point. I really appreciate you guys watching this video all the way through. Again, support the Soul Eater Special Edition, guys. I really hope you guys check it out. If you're a Soul Eater fan, for those Fire Force fans, tell them to check it out. Let's just support this Special Edition as much as we can. Let's show Asushi Okubo that we still support Soul Eater up until this point. Come on, guys. You need this Soul Eater reboot, so hopefully this is the answer to our questions. So, hope you guys stick around. I will be reviewing the second edition of Soul Eater when it comes in October. Yes, October will be the next Soul Eater edition, so I will be reviewing that as well. I think I'll review the others too, depending, but I will be reviewing the second one, so you guys stick around, and most likely I'll review the ones afterwards. So yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys can tell me what you guys think. Comment down below what you think of the Soul Eater series, and tell me what you think of the video overall. You guys stay safe, wash your hands, be careful, and for the love of God, wash your hands and always wear a mask when you go out. It is really dangerous. So, hope you guys take care, and I'll see you guys later.
Are you gonna tell them thanks for watching? Thanks for watching, assholes.
You guys are awesome. Later.